think we're live.
Awesome.
It's just 8 minutes late.
Well, then we have to cut 8 minutes of the agenda out, which I'm glad if you want to cut out my 8 minutes.
Yeah, you have nothing important to say anyway.
All right. Well, we are live. I see it on YouTube now, so you can go ahead and start talking about our agenda.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Sorry for being late. Because I'm a technical genius, I messed up with the go live thing, but we're live now, so that's great. So, hey, everyone. I'm just going to introduce ourselves. I'm Kevin Muessig. I'm a developer advocate for SAP, part of the developer relations team. And my blue-bearded colleague right here is Josh Bentley, and probably everyone knows him. And he's also a developer advocate.
Exactly. So, Kevin, I started in 2007, which is about how many minutes late we were for this call. But what year did you start with SAP?
2015 in May.
Nice. Yeah. So 7 years?
Yeah. I mean, I started having internships and writing my bachelor thesis and stuff with SAP before. So if we count that in, a little bit longer than 7 years, but yeah.
I'm just trying to hammer home that we were 7 minutes late. Seven.
I know. It's fine. It's fine.
All right. So look, we are late. So let's go ahead and start jumping into the agenda. Right. I want to get to first, we had what we were going to talk about, which is the Devtoberfest event that we're taking part in today. This is already the 5th day, right?
Exactly. It's the 5th day, last day of the first week. And the last day is Ressources, which is cloud native. And that's what we want to talk about today. We want to just introduce a little bit to the cloud native days, which are happening every Friday for the rest of the weeks for Devtoberfest. And we're going to walk you through some of the events we have planned for you for the coming Fridays. And we're going to recap my session from this morning, European time. So if you haven't checked that out, you can still do that. The recording is on YouTube. And yeah, but before we do that, Josh, what was your favorite session from this week?
Oh, excuse me. So mine actually was joining some of the stuff that's on ABAP, because as you know, being cloud native, I think it's a different universe sometimes than the people that are focused on ABAP and traditional SAP coding and HANA. So I was watching the events on Monday that Mamiki set up, as well as participating in doing some of those tutorials on ABAP, just to, I know Rich Heilman's, I think, monitoring the chat right now. It's to them, it's like air. It's just what they breathe. But to me, it is so different. It's like I'm lacking oxygen when I start looking at it. So I'm trying to get more comfortable with it. I know I've been here since 2007, and that was when we were heavy into NetWeaver. And so I know about ABAP. I know how it works, and I know a lot about what it does from a business logic standpoint. But actually coding in it for me is not a daily thing. So I was really happy to attend those sessions Monday, and I'm looking forward to next Monday's sessions as well.
Cool. Yeah, I checked it out as well, because as you said, we know a lot about ABAP in the sense of what it is and why it's there, but we're usually not coding in it. So definitely an interesting topic. And you know what's really interesting to me? This year, we have like a huge prize for the Devtoberfest challenge, and I know you're the challenge guy. So do you want to introduce you to the big prize, the grand prize, and the challenge itself? Like, give us an overview.
Yeah, for sure. So as you know, this is the 3rd year that we've done Devtoberfest, and in the first year we didn't have physical prizes. In the second year, we launched the point system. Instead of it being a submission for the best coding project, we actually had a challenge where you earn points, and we put the digital game board out there with the arcade characters, and it went pretty well. We had a lot of people participate, and they tried to move up from level 1 to level 4 to qualify for the grand prize. But it was more like a charity thing last year. We weren't allowed to give away as big a monetary prize as we wanted to. This year, with the help of the SAP Learning Organization, we're not only going to have level 1, 2, and 3, and 4 like last year, but we're going to have prizes as you move up. So for level 2, you qualify for a hat, beanie, stocking cap style hat. Level 3, you get the stadium scarf, which is nice. And then level 4, you get to actually qualify to put your name in the hat, and we're going to draw 10 names out. So 10 customers will qualify. Unfortunately, employees are not eligible. Read the contest rules. But if you read the contest rules and you are eligible based on your location, you could be one of 10 people to win an all expenses paid trip I'm not sure about all expenses. I'm not sure if they cover everything that you spend, but we cover hotel, travel, and get to go to visit the SAP location in California. I think we call it, a executive meet and greet, and then we're all going to go to Disneyland, whoever's involved. I'm not sure who's going from our team, but we will have SAP chaperones taking you to Disneyland. So these 10 customers that qualify and win will get to go to this all expenses paid trip.
It's pretty cool. As far as I know, the location where the winner is going to meet up with the executives is the Newport Beach office in California. And
I don't know if everybody knows what that is. What is the Newport Beach location?
So the Newport Beach location, for those who don't know, so I used to live there, and our colleague Michelle is living close by there. The Newport Beach office is a super cool and hip office place. It's an open office space where you can actually, even if you're not an SAP employee, go there and book yourself some seating, and there's like nice coffee there. And it's right at the ocean, right at the harbor. So you can just look out, have the sun, see the ocean. It's a really great place as well. And then there's a bunch of SAP people there as well working. And I just can recommend it, even if you don't win the grand prize, if you ever get the chance to go to California, go and check it out and grab a coffee there. It's a really nice spot to be, and has a shopping area around. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
So,
before we moved into the next phase, I know we've gone over a little bit in the first section because we're running late, but anything else on that location before we jumped into talking about the other days of the week? Because I want to make sure that we highlight everything going on in Devtoberfest.
I got to say, I'm just monitoring the chat on the side same time. That's the reason why I'm looking on the right-hand side. And Raphael is saying that the user interface session on Tuesday, he really liked. And I got to agree, like the topics there we cover, and we switched that up. Like each week we have different user interfaces we're covering, SAP Fiori elements and the UF5 stuff. And then we have the iOS topics in there as well at some point. And I think it's really great approach of going that way and covering different types of user interface technologies SAP is offering. So really got to agree on that.
Yeah, and as we've got a point system, right? So you get 200 points for attending some of these events, like the one you're in right now with Kevin and I. Some of these qualify for points, some of them don't, because if there's no reason to ask a question about what did you learn, we're not going to have points awarded. But for some of these events that are live events, we have validation tutorials, and you can earn points. And then our regular tutorials in the developers.sap.com, you can go, even if you've already completed them, we're trying to make sure the badges map. So please let us know in the group thread if you're having issues with the badges, but we're making sure even if you've already completed a tutorial, we're not going to penalize you. So we're going to make sure we get credit applied for those same tutorials that are in our list. So far, I've written in the SAP groups thread 2 weeks worth of content that can earn points. And just as Kevin mentioned, if you did some of these UI things, you're going to do tutorials as well that qualify for tutorial points, 175 each. And we've got, ABAP on Mondays, we've got UI on Tuesdays, we've got Wednesdays with data and analytics. I know Vitali's put a ton of work into that. And then when you jump into Thursdays, you're getting into low code, no code. A lot of that's being done by Daniel Rubleski on our team. And then Fridays, Kevin, you've been helping set up all the stuff here. Right. And as people go through and they're looking at all these events that can earn points, I'm trying to publish the list around Thursday, Friday of the week of what's coming next week. But the real thing I want to mention is if you look at a month's worth of content, all color coded, as Kevin just had up with the calendar, you don't have to do it all in one day. You don't have to do it today because it's Friday, all the low code, no code stuff on Thursday. You don't have to do all the UI stuff on Tuesdays. You can do it anytime during the month of October. The contest closes on October 31st at the Pacific time. I think it's either midnight or noon. I apologize for not having the date off the top of my head or the time, but it is on that date. So in the rules and everything about the terms and conditions, it says you can earn points up until the last day of October. So all this content is going to be published. And by the end of the fourth week on Friday, everything will have been published for well over a week. So you could have been going to events and doing tutorials during that entire time. That make sense?
It does make sense. So I am having the events page open for Devtoberfest right now. You might see that here. And if you're just gonna guide me to where we can find that information you posted. So
yeah, so go up to the groups at the top where it's Devtoberfest.
Yeah, right here.
Yep. So when you click on that, if you go to the top posting in the Devtoberfest group, So groups, Devtoberfest, not events. Go to groups.
Groups. There it is.
Yes.
And then we have Devtoberfest.
There's a different thread. Events shows you where the calendar appointments are and where
Right.
all these recordings are. But the groups thread has all the information about the event. And there should
There
be
we
one
are.
published by me that talks about the points earning opportunities.
Devtoberfest 2022 contest activities and points. There we are.
Yep,
So
click on
again,
that.
to recap, groups, and then we have
Devtoberfest.
here, Devtoberfest. And then you just click here, and then you have that Devtoberfest 2022 contest activities and points. And then we just go in here, and then we have an overview. That's what you're.
And there's a link to all the stuff that I can't remember off the top of my head about the legal terms and conditions, as well as the structure of the points. And then each week I publish on Thursday, Friday, the next week's events that you can do to attend and the next week's tutorials you can complete. So you should see week 1 and week 2.
Right. So we're seeing week 1, and then all the way down here, we see week 2. But one thing I want to point out here right now is we have general activities. You can earn points right away. So first of all, if you register, you get your 10 points for registering. And then right now we have,
and real quick, Kevin, registering in the group that you're showing. So you have to go to Devtoberfest group and click register.
Right. I've already done that, so I cannot show that. But another thing I wanted to point out, we have Pettoberfest going on right now. And if you go on Twitter, you should see a ton of posts for Pettoberfest under hashtag Pettoberfest. And we have Tom Young and we have Rich Heilman. And I don't know if you posted a picture of you and your cats, but if not, you should do that.
I might do it. And let's talk about the rules for that. So if you publish on Twitter, that's awesome. And we love the attention. LinkedIn, wherever you post it. I don't care what social media you use. Copy that link, come back here to the groups page. And if you hit your back button, Kevin, and you look for the Pettoberfest thread, that's where they need to go to make a comment, to post a picture. You need to do something to be active in the Pettoberfest thread, and then you'll get credit for those points that we're awarding for Pettoberfest. So I've got plenty of pictures of the 2 cats that occupy my house, and yeah, I'll show a picture of them. I want a dog.
So we have, I'm sorry. We have Craig right here with his cat. So you can see
Craig's cat helps him do a lot of jewelry making and other games online.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like some game open here, right? And we have like a dog. Yeah, it's cool. So yeah,
there you go.
Make sure to join that group to get all the information and all the updates you need right here.
And if anything else, if you find a dog or a cat or whatever pet, a lizard you like somewhere in the world, post a picture of it here to get the points, and you get a really cool badge that Carolee designed. So it's a very cool Pettoberfest themed badge that you get assigned to your SAP user ID in the community. So I would just go find a random pet if you don't have one of your own and make sure you participate.
Just go for a walk and take pictures of
preferably a dog. And I don't care if people want to get mad at me for not liking cats, that's fine. I take my cat for a walk. Actually, that's what I'll do. I'll post a picture of me trying to take my cat for a walk.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, yeah. So while we're in here, and we're skipping ahead a little bit, but that's fine. It's just how you and myself work, right? We're just chaotic people. So we have the we have the groups with the Devtoberfest just covered, and here we have the SAP events, and then under Devtoberfest events, you can find all the events which are going on, all the sessions. So right now we see the Cloud Native opening with myself and Josh, event in progress. And then we have like all the other ones. And as Josh mentioned, they're color coded. So if we select here on the labels, Cloud Native, we can see the orange is the Cloud Native days. And we see all the sessions coming up in here. And while I'm in here, Josh, would you mind giving us an overview of the sessions coming up?
Yeah, for sure. So look, October 7th is today, and Kevin and I are doing the kickoff, which is reverse from his first session because I'm located in the eastern coast of the United States. So I'm in this time zone, which is more convenient for me than waking up 7 hours before it's time for me to get up and doing a really early session. So, but again, we are trying to be time zone friendly and have a couple of sessions per day. So what is Cloud Native? What even is Cloud Native, and the basics of Kubernetes already aired, as well as the session you're in right now. So these 2 things happen today, but next week we've got day 2 operations with the SAP Business Technology Platform, Kyma Runtime, part 1. There will be a part 2 coming up later. And so Gaurav Abi is going to be running this session, and he's broken into 2 pieces. So you can attend that next week on the 14th. And another session on the 14th is SAP HANA Cloud from the SAP BTP Kyma runtime. Our Thomas Young, our team member, is going to be running that one. And then we have on the 21st, the part 2 I mentioned of the day 2 operations with Gaurav. So he's going to come back and finish that session. It's you can handle it as a beginner, intermediate, but there are some deeper things that he gets into. So I want to make sure everybody knows to come prepared to actually do not only those sessions, but some of the deeper Kyma tutorials that we posted as well. And attending those sessions will help you understand the bigger picture of how the BTP Kyma runtime operates. And that's why it's called a day 2 operations, because it's not just about setting it up, it's about connecting it to other things. And then I'm going to have a session coming up on the 21st where I talk about containerization. So for a few years, I actually, unfortunately for SAP, I left for a little while and I went to Red Hat. And so I had a lot of fun working with my team over there, dealing with OpenShift and how that middleware platform as a service was converting over to Kubernetes, and working with Docker and building the OCR containerization standards. And so when you look at containerization as a whole and how that translates into working with newer applications versus virtual machines, we're going to talk about that in that session. So hopefully people will join me for that. And then we've got developing front-end applications in Cloud Foundry and end-to-end journey with our colleague Nico. And finally, develop your first CAP, Cloud Application Programming Model application on the SAP BTP Kyma runtime with Jamie Colley. So Jamie's been a guest on my Developers Digest show. He's also done several sessions with you as well, Kevin. And Jamie's just one of those guys that works in our customer success team with Kyma. And he's been around for a long time, along with a lot of the other people that work on that product management team. They give very willingly to us. They help write tutorials and they produce content. So hopefully you'll join that session with Jamie Colley.
Cool. Thank you, Josh. And while I'm in here, you also have that calendar view. I just really like that because you have the color coding right here as well. And you have like everything in one glance. So we can see that we not only have the orange cloud native sessions on Fridays, but we also have the yellow ones. And the yellow ones are the Fun Friday events we had last year as well. So one of the Fun Friday events, which are going on right now, is the Pettoberfest. And so make sure that you join us for the other Fun Friday events, because that's where you meet most of us advocates. And we do just cool and fun things like you might remember from last year, like a trivia quiz on the 14th. And then on the 21st, we have like the gaming night again, because people love that. And then we have something called the Flying Money Game. And I'm going to be surprised of what that is going to be, because I don't know yet. And then how did I not see that? And that's a funny one, because that is us telling you stories about silly mistakes we did while writing code that caused us hours to debug and find out what the issue was. And I bet we're going to have some fun stories there from us and the other colleagues from the developer advocates team. So
I mean, I could do a sneak peek of mine, which is it took 7 minutes to join a live stream once. Oh wait, that was today. So now I've got a couple of pretty decent mistakes that I've made in the past, and I don't know about you, but I'm not embarrassed by them because I usually learn from them. But having to apologize and really take responsibility for the mistake, it hurts a little bit, but you learn from it. And then, as the title of it says, how did I not see that? Like, was I going too fast? Was I tired? Was I not, drinking enough energy drink and eating bananas? Like, what happened to me that I couldn't pay attention? It was such a simple mistake. How did I not see it? So it's a good session.
You know what I remember from the days, I mean, I'm not making any mistakes anymore, except of joining a live stream way too late. That's the only thing. But when it comes to coding, I'm pretty much perfect. But back then, those issues you have, you're debugging something for forever. And then at some point you're like, oh, I got to ask my colleague, I got to ask someone to check it out and take a look. And they come over at your desk and they look at your screen like for a minute and they're like, that's it. That's the issue. And you're like, yeah, no way. And then you just do whatever they tell you. And then all of a sudden it works. And you're like, how did I not see that?
Yep.
See what I did? What I did there?
I did.
So yeah.
I did. That was right.
So yeah.
On the nose.
Check that out. The calendar view. Pretty cool.
Very good. What's next?
So we're talking about Jamie Colley doing a lot for the community, and Gaurav Abi also doing a lot of the community, bringing out content for you to learn more about cloud native. And what I want to do is just quickly introduce you to some of that content, so you can get an idea of what we mean by that. And quite a lot of content is out there on developers.sap.com in our tutorial section. And then if you just go on developers.sap.com, tutorials, all tutorials. And then in here, you have the software product filter. And then in here, you just got to look for the SAP BTP Kyma runtime, which is right there. And then you click on it. And it filters for all the tutorials and missions out there which cover the Kyma runtime topics. And then in here, we have some amazing missions getting you started on the topics. So we have build an application to Kyma runtime, deploy your CAP application on the Kyma runtime, and then so on and so forth. So you have all the cool missions in here getting you started with the topic. And then what I like is also the samples repo on github.com.
Okay.
And then in here, and as you might remember, in the SAP samples, we have the code challenges and those kind of things. But we also have a lot of samples for extending BTP scenarios. And of course, I prepped that beautifully. But in here, you have and maybe you can cover while I'm looking for that. That's embarrassing.
No worries. Well, so while you're looking for that, the thing about the samples is that I know Jamie and a lot of the other people that are active in helping us build these tutorials, they will reference the GitHub samples, and they're under SAP samples. And it's an entire community where you can go as a community member on GitHub, and you can actually just download this code and play with it. And as you see Jamie's face there, this is where he's been putting a lot of stuff out there for Kyma. But don't forget, Kyma is open source, right? So the Kyma samples that he's putting out there, they are giving you hooks into BTP. But you can also download and build your own version of Kyma and try things out in a new version of Kyma by going to the Kyma website, which is kyma.io, I can't remember, Kyma project, Kyma-project. And you can actually play with some Kyma code on your own that's not connected to BTP. But then once you want to start to take advantage of the power of the business technology platform, Kyma runtime, that's when you use these samples that are in the repo we're showing you now.
Right. For example, you have like the different TechEd samples. They're still out there, like from last year. And then you find something like the build extensions with SAP BTP Kyma runtime. And then you can watch the video replay from the TechEd session itself. And then you can see here, it's an example on how to do Launchpad server with HANA Cloud using alert notifications and the HTML5 application repository, and how you set all of that up and how you get that running. So you see there's like quite an extensive library of exercises you can go through, and in the end you have like a running system with a lot of cool things going on. So that is one of those. And then that's how you would browse the SAP samples repository, right?
Yep.
So
can you open up another web page for me though? Go to discovery-center.cloud.sap.
Sure.
So that's another place that these are different styles of tutorials. They're called learning journeys and missions that you can do there. So you can search at the top for Kyma, and in that search bar, and it will bring up any missions that allow you to actually experience Kyma from a different standpoint than getting into the tutorials. These are different guided missions that they educate you as well as let you do some coding, but they're just at a different level. So I won't call it beginner, but it is a much higher level than some of the tutorials go into. And it's a great way to get introduced to the actual technical things that the product can do if you're looking to become a customer.
Right. And you can see
it's also
here,
a great place to see. Oh, it's also a great place to see all the services that are connected and other things that you can get out of BTP. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can just like go through here, see the project board, see support customer stories, related missions. And then down here, you see, go ahead, start your mission for free. And then you just go in here and then you log on with your account, and then you can get started with that mission and trying that stuff out and learning about that. Another thing I wanted to show is the 2 minutes off video series on YouTube. And so you just basically go to youtube.com, and then you can punch in.
Hey, look, there's me and you in the corner.
Right. Oh, God. If you punch in Cloud Native beginners, you should actually find the videos right here. Cloud Native for beginners, what is Kubernetes? The Kubernetes control plane explained, serverless microservices and serverless functions. So those are small little 2-minute to 3-minute videos explaining you a gist of these topics. Why do I need Kubernetes, the Kubernetes components, and what is containerization, those kind of things. So they're on the SAP Developers YouTube channel, but you can also just punch in Cloud Native for beginners. Make sure you subscribe there and so you get notified if new videos come out. And in the 2-minute series, we're not only covering Cloud Native, we're covering a lot of different topics when it comes to technology. So super interesting.
And look, you mentioned Kubernetes, right? So I'm not probably going to have time this month to do a developer's digest with all the stuff we're doing with Devtoberfest and prepping for Tech Ed next month, 15th and 16th. So make sure you register for Tech Ed as well. And we can do another call to action at the end about that. But with talking about Kubernetes, that was one of the questions that came in to Ask an Advocate was, is the SAP BTP system really using Kubernetes? And so I had Jürgen on, Jürgen Mueller, our CTO, and he was answering questions. And that was one that he answered for us. And he just talked about, look, when you're using BTP and you're building things, you might be using Cloud Foundry, you might be using Steampunk for the ABAP runtime, or you might be using Kyma, which is powered by these open source projects. So we truly do have Kubernetes and containerization running inside of BTP as an option. It's not a solving every problem. It's not a be all end all for every developer, but it is nice that you can have different types of runtimes within BTP while still attaching to that SAP business logic that you're trying to actually make more powerful.
Cool. That's
so look, I
cool.
talked about Tech Ed. It's getting close to actually being really 30 minutes. We've almost talked for 30 minutes, believe it or not. And crazy. We do have Tech Ed that is happening at the end of Devtoberfest. We try to use this month to get people excited and get their learning ramped up. But next month, we are going to be doing on-site in Las Vegas, some deeper learning sessions. So if you want to join Kevin, myself, and the developer advocates in Las Vegas, we will be there with a lot of the SAP product owners doing hands-on sessions. That is a separate additional learning thing that you can qualify for or register for, in addition to the free Tech Ed that is going to be a global event that you can join virtually online anytime during those 2 days of November 15th and 16th. But if you want to go to Las Vegas and do hands-on sessions, now's the time to register.
It's not only the hands-on sessions there, it's also, we have some fun activities there as well, where you can meet us and hang out and just have a chat.
Yeah, and we're live streaming the actual keynotes, but I have to be very careful what I say because I'm really bad at keeping secrets. So I know that if I say the wrong thing, Rich Hyman will come back and make us delete this whole session. So
it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
It's not.
But I'm quite the gambler. I'm going to be playing poker and doing what I can out there during the 2 days. So if you guys need me to come over, just let me know.
Can make a meet and greet with Josh in the poker area. That's cool.
I'll save the seat.
Right. So, as you said, we're right at the top of the half hour, kind of, right? Is there any final words you want to say to our viewers before we close this session for today?
Yeah, I want to make sure people understand we are looking closely at the badges and the alignment of assigning those correctly as you complete our different events that are earning points. We know the contest is important to you. So please go to that thread that Kevin showed earlier in the Devtoberfest group. Ask a question, make a comment saying, hey, my badges aren't lining up. We are seeing those comments and we're trying to research them and work with the team behind the scenes. So I just want to make sure that I'm fully transparent that we are seeing those comments and answering them. Right. Tom Young's been doing a great job of answering a lot of those directly. And if you want to earn those points and qualify, please complete these tutorials, not just for the missions to earn points and to qualify for prizes, but it's also great education opportunities during the entire month of Devtoberfest, which is why we do it. And we thank you for joining not only this session, but all the sessions, because you make the SAP community, bigger and better when you do this kind of stuff with us.
Right. And if you watch sessions on YouTube like this one here or the one this morning or any other session this week, make sure you use the groups functionality in the comments below of those sessions in the events to ask your questions or give us feedback on anything. And we highly appreciate your time and you watching what we have to say. And yeah, I think these are beautiful words to end our cloud native opening, right?
Great job as always, Kevin.
That's how I do it. All right, guys.
Perfect.
Cool.
All right. We'll
So
see you
thank you
guys
for
next week. Enjoy the rest of Friday.
yeah. Enjoy the rest of Friday. Make sure you do your Pettoberfest pictures. And yeah, thank you for watching and joining. Bye bye.
Goodbye.